I have hairspray in my hair, so. It hurts a little bit. Is it working? Yeah, it's working, I think. Ow. Oh no. Okay. Well, even though no one's here, we continue. I don't know how loud to speak because it's late. I think it's pretty soundproof in this place, ish, but to be considerate, I don't want to speak too loud. Oof. It's been quite hot and my hair's been a bit all over the place. And I've been walking a lot and traveling, so it's a bit knotted. We can just sit here and do this for a little bit. Can you hear that? I don't know what it is. I think it's like there's a tablet here. But I don't know what the buzzing is. Like it's a tablet for like communication. It's a unmanned hotel. But I don't know why it keeps making all that noise. I don't know if this is the healthiest for my hair, but it needs to happen. This comb, I need a new one badly, but it's just the only one I have. And my grandma gave it to me. That's not super sentimental with me. A bit. I mean, I have it still, but you know, as with anyone estranged from family, there's I don't know if I'd call it sentimentality. It's a fondness of the version of me, so meaning childhood, Megan, who sought love and was indoctrinated in a certain way that had fondness. And I mean, children, you more often than not love your caregivers. And if you have the luxury of extended family, grandparents, and so, of course, I mean, I'm also named after said grandmother. But, you know, the person I am now would stay, well, a world away from someone like that. And not be, I mean, I guess she died when I was quite young, in my early teens, but I played the trumpet at her funeral. There's just like it's really just the intensity of religion in which I was raised, which I guess brings the self-flagellation of it all. I know that's a intense word, and an intense practice, I was raised Catholic, and so these extremes within said practice. No, I've been thinking about self-flagellation a lot lately, and in my practice, my artist practice, there's been a lot of covering myself and death and rebirth cycles and like funeral rituals, or at least like funeral rituals, death rituals of like burning of my art, or like burying things or using the earth on me. Various, I've coded myself in various things, but one of which was the Bible. And that one was, in a sense, self-flagellatory, um, where for 4 days straight I walked to the venue um, and like stripped mostly, because there was, which for an art school, why is there an issue being naked? Would have been more impactful and powerful. Anyway, I stripped and pasted the Bible to my body, crawled my way to another room, and ripped it off for 4 days straight. Ouch. Kind of loved it. My poor skin. And I was very tired and in a really difficult living situation, to put it lightly. But that act, like that performance, was a very overt and, I guess, extreme example and way of expressing an internal self-flagellation that I've I've had phases of knowing it, but like lately I had this, like, I've really been contemplating how much I've been doing it, because yeah, when we think of something such as self-flagellation, it's the act of physically harming oneself. But when it's internalized, it's like not just negative self-talk and like critical, like being critical of oneself, but it's that almost, I hesitate to use the word self-sabotage, because I think that kind of cheapens and blames what this feeling actually is. There's this like, it's an internal self-flagellation alongside like really beautiful evolutions amidst healing and I guess you could say steps out of the anxiety and intensities of surviving, or patterns that I felt I had to partake in, or habits in order to survive, which I'm not. So when it's like self-sabotage, right, that's where it feels like I'm not giving myself grace. And I think we do need to give ourselves grace to a point, right? It's the both and of it all. I don't know what to do about that. I really apologize if it's annoying. I'll deal with it. But it's a balance of, did I do this? Oh, I think I need to do a decrease really quick. Let's see if I can get it. This is the piece so far. It will be a mostly crop top, maybe like baby tee crop. but I'm running out of the brown, so I added black, which I'm really liking. I'm realizing I'll be very exposed, both a chest wound and the wound on the back. Anyway, so self-sabotage, I do struggle with it because it's like we're blaming our brain and our body, especially a body that's been heavily traumatized, to blaming it for doing its job. It's just trying to keep me safe. It's just trying to be safe. And so like habits and behaviors that like actually historically have helped me survive and help one survive, that we then as one pursues healing and change and those also need to evolve, and they also need to like some need to die, which is again why death and rebirth often comes up within what I contemplate, but also my practice quite overtly and underneath, but sometimes really intensely. And it does fascinate me because like little, if not big, deaths that do need to happen in order to continue the journey of it all. And so self-sabotage feels a bit cheap, but also there are times where like amidst that evolution, I can feel the fighting, and there's like a tension, if not like these two various sides confronting, if not like combating each other, where the habits of that were developed amidst survival, or that were, I think I've mostly outgrown and de-indoctrinated from that which I was indoctrinated as a wee girl, wee child. But there are parts of my bones of that like I am confronting, that of like familial rules, which really are major harms that got me in a lot of these circumstances, and or which I should say required an intense level of healing. Yeah, so there's like I'm so sorry. I'm kind of okay with it. I don't want to annoy people, and I really don't know where it's coming from, that buzz, because it sounds like it's right by me right now, but also the tablet's over there, and when I'm over there, it also sounds like it's right by me. Anyway, yeah, so like there's an intensity of those things that maybe halt the progression, the evolution, the flow that I am, if I let myself, when I let myself, if I give myself the space to honor and be proud of myself for shedding and opening myself up to the flow that I truly desire, the me that the ways in which I was raised and environments I was amidst blocked and sought to control, and ultimately systems that are harmful that I need to confront, learn, and correct within me. So like a de-indoctrination and doing, and therefore pursuing action, creation, behavior that rectifies those things, but also a rectification like of just being and creating and being okay with who I am, because that's been a big one. So like the self-flagellation, coming back to it, of like on the surface right now I'm traveling and living around the world, and this has been a near decade and a half habit cycle I've been in, and there's been evolution along the way. There's been a lot of hardship and harm and isolation and aloneness, and both in the beautiful sense and in the very difficult sense. But like a beautiful creation, and like right now I've really come into so many like there's a readiness to pursue ease despite a intense life of surviving, and which is sometimes a feat, like when you wake up literally just like holding your breath and anxious and heightened, that can be a that's not a small ask. But also I've pursued so many habits and behaviors, and opened myself to creation and the humility of curiosity, and um, realizing that like I don't, obviously I do not know everything, and I'm happy to learn, but also learning discernment, and also learning who I desire to be, but also just being. And that's been the self-flagellation, where on the surface it looks like I literally left everything when I was 20. I pursued creation, which like I guess I pursued my dreams, but also just my being, my core being. And I've created and I've exhibited. I got a master's degree in art, and now I've shifted and I've like made a song, and I'm writing, and I'm filming, and I'm making clothes, I'm knitting, and which I'm not right now. I need to count, but I'm talking, and I don't want to count while I talk and fuck it up, which I'm already kind of doing. Anyway, I now I really want to count it. One moment, please. One, two. Huh? Did I? Did I not? Did I do it wrong? I might have done it wrong. So sorry about my brain. I literally was on this roll of self, and I'll get back to it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think I did it wrong. Oh no. Okay. I'll fix that. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Again, brain. Surviving. It's so funny because there is a part of me that's like does stuff like that. That's a bit of, I mean, it is also just like a brain doing its thing. You can call it whatever type of trauma, neurodivergence. But that like seeking immediate gratification instead of waiting and continuing. That's sometimes how it exhibits in my experience. But I'm also very hard on myself. I feel so bad now. Anyway, what I was saying is I've done so many things. I've seen so much. I've opened myself up to the beauty that is the world. And I have said I'm an artist, and I pursued, as I said, a master's degree in said art. And now I'm shifting to, I was talking about knitting, which I guess I could say, well, knitting or clothing design. I don't know if it's my first love as a child, but it's one that was definitely hit hard because I was punished for a lot of the drawings I did, which would have midriff showing or maybe a little low, and they were too sexy. And so I was told to either erase them, throw them away, and change them. So again, these aspects of control that I felt, but also have always wanted to. And it's been a recurring theme, and then therefore then it slowly exhibited itself in my practice, which was I started working with textiles, and I started making clothes and clothing costume for my performances. And now I'm actually designing knitwear and creating it and wearing it because I've always wanted to make my own wardrobe. And now I guess make things that others can make and wear, which I think is so funny with knitting because that adds it's like an engineering and mathematical thing that I loved math and art as a kid. Um, so, what a lovely marriage. That's one of the only kinds of marriages I would be happy to have in my life right now. Anyway, even now I'm like choking on my words because there's that fear that, and I'm struggling to say it. The self-flagellation that's been in everything I've been trying to say is, even though it looks like I'm pursuing my dreams and it looks like I'm traveling, exhibiting, creating, and diving deep and opening myself up to the beauty that is creation and being an artist, there is a big part of me that put it over there. Even though I was very acutely experiencing it, I couldn't fully be her. Because admitting I'm her would mean realizing, actualizing, making real all the harm that I was already experiencing for simply being me. And I guess it would also require a responsibility of that, not others' harm, but accepting that and accepting this journey of healing and the sometimes graceful, oftentimes clumsiness of it, and it would make real why my family did what they did, why lovers, friends, why. And this isn't like just blaming everyone else. Like I knew I needed to be artist because it's who I am. And I knew that I needed to go on this quite literal and physical, but also internal journey of accepting and being okay with shedding things and people and places and old ideologies and comforts and death to parts of self, and that sometimes is really intense, and if my journey is, I would say, particularly intense in some ways. I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think this level of it is by any means for everyone, and I don't recommend it, and at least how I went through it, because some of it is that lack of acceptance of it and the putting her over there, the self-flagellation. I ultimately hurt her, hurt me by not being her and accepting her, accepting me. I have gotten to luckily, beautifully gotten to this point of I can look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. But there are moments of where I still, it lives in certain parts of my body, and like it affects my voice. It affects a fear of just even falling asleep and resting. It affects a pit in my stomach. It affects the wound. It affects my hips. So it's these very visceral, very real, very physical things that tighten my chest and hold my breath and stifle my breath rather. And even now that I'm not fully, I am trying to be considerate, but I can, of my volume in my voice, but that I'm even, I'm tamping it. I'm like putting a cap on it. Out of consideration, yes, but when will I scream? When will I say the things? When will I create the things? When will I let myself be her? And that self-flagellation of, I do not hate, or I'm actually very grateful for the journey of creation I've been on, and I wouldn't trade it. I mean, it, what good is there looking back and wishing for something different and just learning from it and continuing? But I said it earlier, I didn't know what my first, I don't know if clothing specifically was my first love, but it was one of a few, which also included music, or at least singing, but like making songs. But that was quickly stifled. But also directing, filmmaking, wanted to act, all these things, right? I had these other loves, which I also, I guess, went on a journey in the fine art realm, which so grateful for, and it was beautiful too, because those also have some like trickiness of harm as well, with like drawing, specifically painting certain things. But there is this, it's like I had to go on the journey in that avenue of art in order to get back to writing, designing textiles, clothing, filmmaking, and music, that like I denied her. I denied that part of me, which again, that self-flagellation of it all. And it's just funny to the path it takes sometimes to get you back there if you're open and willing to go there. But that's also meant confronting this self-flagellatory part of me that, yes, wants to keep me safe, but also like it hurts. It's not real. Like I'm not talking literally, like physically, but it's just metaphorically, internally, those parts that keep us from doing things, and not fun, because when you like open yourself up to today, I had like such a lovely, I don't know, just like some crazy serendipity. I was running a little late. I stayed up all night. That's another story. But I stayed up all night. Do Anyway, and I was like a bit sleepy, had a nap, needed to pack still. I'm only gone for a short while, so I packed light, and I've been doing this for like 14 years, so I know how to pack. Anyway, so I packed, got ready, but I still was running late because it was new bus routes. And so I had to like catch the bus and like walked a lot longer, and it's really hot out. So it was just kind of, and I'm tired, whole thing. I was running quite late, and I got to the check-in counter just barely before it closed. And I get to the counter and they upgraded me to first class. Cool. Um, I'm not signed up for any program, just upgraded. And then I get to the line to go through security, and they go, "Hey, a half hour isn't long enough for you to get to your gate and board, so you need to go to priority." So I, again, not signed up for this, am ushered off to priority. Um, that goes fine, very quickly, very easily. And then I get to the gate, which I think it was a miscommunication, where I thought I got there when the boarding closed, but I got there right as it was, or just before it was opening. So I had time to go get a coffee, which, like, very grateful I could sit and knit and have a coffee in my upgraded seat. And I I board. Everything's lovely. Um, the the flight attendant helped me put my bag in the overhead bin, which, like, I'm very strong, and I do maybe carry a bit too heavy of things for most people. But that was lovely. I've usually just muscled it up by myself. But I just like sat and ate some vegetables and had my coffee and knitted the whole flight. Really lovely. It was really interesting being in first class, because, or whatever it is on like a budget airline, but bigger seats, more legroom. Just how the different attention that I got. But I also like hadn't planned for much of like the really getting into the country was just very easy, which normally it is, but like sometimes things get a little sticky, or like the line is long. Everything just kind of like smoothly went. And then I just decided that I was gonna walk from the airport to my accommodation, which I'm in a country that's quite safe right now. And so it was like a 45-minute walk, and I did it. Um, and I know that this sounds really silly, but a lot of my journey has been very budget, let's say, and sometimes that gets you in certain situations that maybe aren't the most comfortable, um, put nicely, but also for like safety. So I just actually have my own place, and a friend supported me in some ways, which was really, I think sometimes with being artist, again, denying me, um, the self-flagellation. I feel like, how many times am I saying that? I'm not even drinking. Um, it There can be that line, that tricky line of artist and that gift that you're giving the world. but also beggar. I think like the starving artist is it's a trope for a reason, right? And so there can be that. And I grew up in the States where I think I've heard it often said, you're either a millionaire or an embarrassed millionaire because you're not a millionaire. And so there's that like intensity of like shame that I was raised in and that people have often put on me. But also, yeah, there's been moments of wanting more in that. I think a big part of my journey has been denying myself, like subconsciously, to have certain things because I already stood out in my family, where I was from, in my abilities, and then also like my artist voice and my journey, because which is again quite intense and a lot. But so by subconsciously denying myself certain things, it I was already being rejected and alone, and so I think a self-flagellation of that was like that evening of denying myself certain things and certain progression, certain evolution to maybe be a bit accepted a little bit, but ultimately is hurting me and has to be shed now. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's like an ease right now, like walking from it's very funny. I walk a lot. And so I was asking the information desk about do I need to take the free shuttle to the other location and then walk? But it was only said like 42 or 45 minutes to my accommodation. And so I was like, I can walk that, even if it is like 31 degrees out. The sun was setting, so it was fine. But and I don't have a ton of things, but I have like a heavy enough backpack and a bag of my knitting. And she was so worried about me. Like we have a Lawson's, we have a convenience store. Please buy some water and make sure you're drinking water and taking breaks and being safe as you walk to to where you're staying. And but like I think I walked it in like 35 minutes, maybe the full 45 because I was filming. I was filming a bit and thinking and writing in my head. But I like was just pleasantly surprised with how easy and straightforward it was to walk from the airport to where I'm staying. And then like it's a virtually manned accommodation, and so I don't know, to have all those serendipities of upgrades and priority and letting myself feel ease in that after very recently confronting and or being confronted with a lot of how I've survived over these past many years. That's really been harmful and hurtful. To then have this ease and very presently, very overtly, honestly, almost force myself to be at ease in it and to let it be easy and to employ my strength of like literal physical strength of I can carry like 8 to 10 kilos on my body. Maybe it's like only 7. It's a lot though. But I'd say at least 8 kilos. Um, carry that. Maybe it's actually 12. It's actually a lot. Anyway, just carry that and walk 45 minutes for fun because I like it and that my body is now strong after being sick for so long, but also like when you are heavily harmed or there can be moments of within surviving of like a feeling of disempowerment. And so to let myself be strong, because not in some ways not being strong, um, like it was a way to be safe in some ways, but also literally to contract. Um, and sure, maybe I was pinching pennies by not wanting to take public transport to my accommodation, but also like a 45-minute walk hopefully doesn't kill people, but it doesn't hurt me. My body is able to take that, and sometimes, and that's like a short walk for me. So seeing that perspective of like, sure, maybe there's that feeling of disempowerment of wanting to pinch pennies, but then like also kind of lovely, badass to just pick up everything and walk because I like doing that. That's how I like to see the world, is by walking and being in life and finding these small, like these intricate little, I say, I don't, not even little, because everyone has their own life, however, whatever scale they see it as and experience it as, but just maybe unassuming, or to slow down and see the world, to see life. I think that's how I want to say it. That's what I enjoy. Walking past a small apartment complex with people's clothing hanging on their balconies. Here, as I was walking past this, I think it was a boxing gym, and just hearing people working out together, and punching. Seeing it, I'm in Japan, and the cars here I think are so special because there's like both new and old-fashioned models, like the boxier 80s 90s vibe, but then also very modern rounded edges, and then later going to a convenience store, and I don't eat meat, and so it can sometimes be hard to find food here. And so I just, luckily, this specific convenience store had loads of like fresh produce, and it's hot, and so I don't like to eat. Right now, my appetite's a bit low, but also I'm not here long, and sometimes the only food I can eat is like fried. There are probably things I can find, but again, it's that shift too of like sometimes I haven't been able to afford a meal out, and it's that then balance of like, because I do like either cooking or assembling food with and for myself, um, and but then sometimes there can be that echo of getting stuck in like, but I can't afford to go out, or I can't afford to feed myself. But then why? Why have I denied myself? And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming myself. I'm not blaming myself for that. I think too often we get in these cycles of, or there's noise in the world that says, you know, pick yourself up, you know, you're the only one. Like sometimes stuff sucks. Sometimes it's really fucking shit. And that's okay. Like that's really okay. But it's that then it's a really interesting feeling of empowerment that I'm witnessing within myself and honoring, because I can't, my life has already been being lived. I can't keep pushing it over there. Because it is like exciting things happen and really sad things happen too. And there's like an intensity of life that like, why wouldn't I want to live it? Again, it's fun, and I'm sitting here while I'm not doing it because I think I kind of messed it up a little. And I didn't mess it up, I just kind of flubbed it a bit. But I'm here knitting, and that's exciting. I haven't I'll show it to the camera again, but let's see if I can untangle it. It's sitting here. Can you see the trim too? I'm running out of the brown, so this is what it's looking like. Why I'm not knitting right now is I think I do decreases every round whenever I do the wound, not on like sleeves and necklines, because they're okay to like go out. I don't know if anyone watching knits, maybe, but for information, like when you have sleeves, right? Like I'm using my camera, my computer, so everything's mirrored anyway, or opposite anyway. So like when you have a sleeve, it goes out, right? You want it to go long. So unless you don't want that to happen, you have to decrease. So I'm fine with like my sleeve, the trim on my sleeve just going out and not decreasing it, because otherwise you like wouldn't see it and it would just pop in. Same with my neckline and here. But when I have these holes, I do decreases, because that's how it instead of going out, it'll go in and lay flat. That's long story short. I think I didn't do my decrease where I needed to, which is why I've counted a bit, and I think I need to count again, just to make sure I'm doing it right. And I don't. Can I do that? I don't know if that would be boring to hear me count, but I think it is time to do that. I'm gonna count quick. So let's see, 2, 3. 22, 23. Okay. Yeah, I need to. I don't know what I did, because it looks like I did decrease. I think I need more light to figure this out. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to be able to knit this right now, because I guess I can get the light over here. No. Okay, I think I flubbed it. I'm going to have to figure that out. What else did I say I would talk about today? A lot on self-flagellation, and my lucky circumstances of getting upgraded. I don't know if anyone has questions. The chat is silent, but I'm also fine with just talking. Yeah, I went to a convenience store to get groceries, because that's all that's open right now. Can you hear that? I'm so sorry. I don't know. I feel like I know what it is. I'm not positive, but I don't know where it's coming from. Hi. Yes, you did. Hello. Thank you. I'm so glad. I think I need to change this. I don't know why it does that. Every minute, like you can't do it. You can't reply or send messages frequently. I think I accidentally did a setting, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I've been talking a lot about self-flagellation. Yeah, it's it's so funny. I when I did my performance where I like pasted the Bible to my body and then like ripped it off 4 days in a row. Like looking back on it, it was like horrible time. I was really in like a bad living situation, like that was quite harmful, and it was one of that was 4 days, so the performance was 4 days, and it was but it, I 2 days prior to the first day of that, I already also did like another what is it called, another performance for Glasgow International, and so I was like exhausted, and there was just like a lot of you could say drama if we want to use that word. Um, but looking back on it, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. And I actually kind of love that I pasted and then ripped pages off of my body 4 days in a row. Um, it, Using my body in my practice is, I was thinking about it again recently because, like, I've often said, turning the ugly into something beautiful, my body's the nucleus of my practice. And I'm like, yes, there's the very obvious things of, like, okay, being sexually harmed, being raised religiously, sure, and being a woman in the world, quite frankly. Um, but then I was like, okay, let's go a bit deeper into that. And I can't remember, I caught like a video by someone who like talks about like de-indoctrinating from faith, and I, it really occurred to me that, like, I think being raised intensely religious hurt my body, and I think it hurts bodies more than I think I've always known that, but like the intensity of it, and then yeah, sure, add sexual violence on top of that, but in like making the art I do and like the criticisms of that and using my voice as a woman. So like it's all of these things piled on top of each other. But like, why did I start using my body in the first place? Why on a random uh, autumn day in my hometown and my university did I decide to take my clothes off and do self-portraiture for my darkroom film photography class. And I think it was that, and because I can still feel it now, these intense restrictions, constrictions, these oppressions of body and shame around body that, like, um, yeah, maybe having had a history of an eating disorder or having with, but that was, or like like sexual violence or these things. Yes, these are very real and they harmful to body. And again, self-flagellatory behaviors or internal thought processes. But really, it's they're all reactions to desiring that, like, shedding of that shame, of that, like, that freedom that I guess first subconsciously and now more consciously pursue from being raised in the way I was and as intensely as I was, and also just again being a woman in the world. um so like I, again with I mentioned earlier of pushing away being who I am, like the major self-flagellation of it all, of um, pushing away me and denying myself being me. Like I'm being an artist, but then I'm like, no, but she's an artist, not me. Like, anyway, um, I think part of it has been that because what would happen if I admitted to myself that, like, oh, I've felt this caged. Um, it halts your voice, like denying yourself your ultimate flow, your ultimate like being. And I'm not talking like good, better, whatever. It's just like letting out the breath to just like accept the flow of, I don't, there will be rapids, there will be hills, whatever, there will be hardships and everything, but just like accepting that and being that. Um and so yeah, I use my body. I'm literally making knitwear for my body. I walked from the airport for 45 minutes using my body. Um, Going to the convenience store to listen to what I want to eat and feed and fuel my body. I think, like, it's okay that I use my body, even if it's been controversial to people. I I've been working with this curator, and I, I kind of feel bad because like my energy is very polarizing within my experience. And so sometimes that means like I just exist and like my boobs almost get someone fired, or I lose family, or I like people get mad at me, or they like kick me off of projects because there's like jealousy there, or there's like fears of being outshined, and I'm just like okay. And so I'm used to it, but it's not saying it's always easy because I can take it in stride more now, but like sometimes it is quite hard because I'm a little sensitive soul. But I also I've grown thicker skin. It just also depends what I'm dealing with, if it's harder on me or not. And even if I do have thick skin, like sometimes it's like, God damn it, like again, like I'm in my 30s. Yeah, we're all adults, many older than me, some same age, some grow up, like calm down. But this curator was first introduced to this like energy I have, and I was like kicked off a project recently by the artist who the curator asked me to perform at the opening, and the artist initially like accepted, but then like without getting into too much detail, I was like they pretty much started like attacking my practice and my work ethic, and like they just started attacking me and telling me that I couldn't perform, or that they were really restricting it, and they were really like trying to control it, which like okay, I get it. Like I think many of us have been there when it's sometimes our first, or like certain when we're at a certain part in our career or creation, or maybe it's just part of who we are, like these shadow parts of who we are that like want to control, like things are like it's 3 days before the opening. I feel a bit out of control, and so I need to control things. And when you especially like maybe if there isn't as much like I think I had more experience than this person. I don't know, but maybe it seems. And so like I just was like, yeah, I feel like I'm being trusted to make something, and I'm going to make something to, yes, I'm using my practice, but to bolster, I'm being inspired by your practice and your voice. And so I'm here to like make this a good time. But when someone's in that headspace, it like can feel very, they just want to control, and like it makes them nervous, and like fine, I just eventually said, I'm done. I bow out. Thank you. And then but then she also told me I couldn't come to the opening, so I was just banned, which you can't really do, it's a public event anyway. Anyway, which I know, I mean, I'm going to say caveat, or just side note, I'm telling the story, so you can believe me or not, you can. Thank you. I think so too. Their loss. But I think like you can believe me or not. Maybe I'm the prick. Who knows? Um anyway, like I know where I can maybe do better with sometimes, let's say, an experience of depression gets in the way, or again, that self-flagellation, whatever. I'm being hard on myself. I was doing my job and I was ready. But so that happened, and then like so many other things have been happening too, just in like the 2 months I've been in contact with this woman. Um, and it just like now we're doing more projects together, but so there's part of me that like feels bad because she's like, I've never experienced someone like this that just simply exists and makes things. And so, and then like people get angry, or people um like try and push it down. um so uh luckily she kind of gets it, and I think sometimes it's a little exciting, and so we're like have some upcoming projects where we're using that. Hopefully we're finalizing the schedule soon, but we might be, I don't know, maybe I'm a little an antagonist. um Within antagonism, I'm antagonizing certain things subtly. I'm working on the subtle parts of it, but learning to use that again. part of what I've denied within myself is that, like, I am antagonizing in some ways, whether I try to or not. And admitting that, which, like, because sometimes, like, feels good, right, to do that, of to blurt out a thing, to challenge a thing, to say a things. I think as artists, we are here to point things out in the world, whether it's beauty. I mean, it can be a range of things, right? It can be like these systems of injustice, which, like, I'm often here talking about, or like, hi, I need to, like, get naked and talk about these things, and make things because, like, owie and body, but also, like, I know, like, work of, like, beauty, and but also, like, making beautiful things, but then, like, maybe putting some, like, subtle stuff in there that, like, kind of gets people thinking in ways that they didn't normally anticipate thinking about something. And I think that's what we do. um yeah, it's just like these, there's a range of that in our lives. And so I think it, like, I guess I'm just at this point of, like, letting myself embrace that, letting myself, like, actually be like, okay, fuck it, yeah, I'm often an antagonist, um or I'm, at least there's a polarizing, controversial part to who I am and what I do. And controversial in the sense of, like, when you point out an injustice, or when you do a thing, or when you're simply a woman unapologetically using your voice, using your body, using, like, calling things out. But then also, I think, like, being an artist, being someone who creates, being, and really, like, when you're an artist, like, that's a really intense experience that we experience, but I think also that the world experiences but doesn't fully understand unless they too know how to tap into creation. And it's a different way of moving through the world that I guess can be seen as controversial as well. Which yeah, like, even just what I'm doing right here, right now, as having traveled and walking from the airport, and just being, I don't know, there's things I've been thinking about lately, with self-flagellation, because I think no matter how hard I am on myself, I I call, when depression is in the room or in my body, um, I call it the the iron blanket, that wants to keep me, well, dress yourself in a heavy iron blanket, and you tell me how you feel. Um, when that's an intensity of it, but even just, I think, when procrastination, create when you have a creative project and it's that desire to start but putting off starting, um, and getting, hard on yourself for it. But if I'm truly honest, even if I get hard on myself for it, I was talking, this is one of the reasons I was up all night last night, talking to someone. I just kind of said that, like, I actually think I am strong, like, stronger than I realize, because even if the iron blanket is, like, heavy, or when I feel anxiety, it's called the starving jackal. Um, I made a, I don't think I've ever shared I made a sculpture of it. I don't think I've ever shared that. Um, but I, like, even when I get into those really intense, extreme states, and when I then get hard on myself for being in those intense, extreme states, which, like, psychology, maybe not 101, but, like, you know, um, that doesn't help. But I still get myself out of it. And again, admitting stuff like that, right? Admitting these things about us, I think is so empowering and helpful. And also humbling, which sounds silly because it could be seen as arrogant, right? Like admitting lovely things about ourselves and enjoying those things about ourselves. But I think it can be really a humbling experience because it's also like owning that and the reality of it um, and the weight of it sometimes and the responsibility of it and being responsible for yourself is in those gifts and beauties that we have um, is quite humbling, I think. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions or I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I wanted to knit more, but I got animated, and I did flub this, and I need to fix it. Yeah, I so at the convenience store, I it's so funny. Like again, these times in our lives where like maybe that were really hurtful and hurt a lot in the moment, but then like looking back, it's wanting to honor it by like, for instance, I did a residency in Japan last year, and there were really intense moments of lack, let's say, and yes. So, but I would like kind of really be looking at my budget and counting my pennies, and I stumbled upon it's a sweet red bean, like in a tin, and also like so I would put that with soft tofu and have that for breakfast. Um, and so I saw that here today, and I luckily have some more pennies to, budget but not pinch. And so I got that as one of the things to feed myself while I'm here. But also then I saw like these candles. Okay, they're like little stubby little candles, and I like ritual in my practice and in my daily life. And so I sometimes like to burn candles as um, like a votive, like a shedding or a calling in. You could call me witchy. You could call me. It could be the residual Catholic in me, whatever. But it's that reclamation of like ritual and these things in our lives that like I think is really important when you de-indoctrinate from a extreme religious upbringing or just faith in general, and welcoming in your own spirituality or just like um, rituals and routines in the world. And like I didn't need to buy these candles. I often buy like little tea candles, which are great because like they also come in like these little like maybe it's aluminum, I don't know, little things so that like it doesn't spill. These do not. But they're just little, and I just kind of wanted them. I wanted like little upright candles. Because I would burn loads of those when I was on residency. And it's just like a little thing that costs like $1. But I like it, and I want to have that, and I want to light little candles and have more ritual in my life. Right now, like I go through cycles, hyperfixations, but like letting that flow and enjoying that. What was the last thing I got that was like, oh, I need to get that just because I'm here? Maybe that was it. Red beans, tofu, and candles. Which I mean, it sounds so silly, but like these really special, like letting myself walk because I wanted to save the money because really, I just didn't want to take out cash because I didn't have cash on me. And I didn't want to like take out cash and then like have to break it and have change. Anyway, but I got a walk-in and like really lovely. Then I have my red beans for the morning to have breakfast. I'm so excited about that. And then I'm knitting this thing that like really I'm honoring. I feel weird to like highly recommend things because like yes, this is my own healing journey, but I think who knows, maybe someone can be inspired. But I think honoring this, you could say inner child, but these first loves of mine, by knitting, by making clothes for myself, I finally get to show baby, well, little Megan, I wasn't a baby, that like not only can I make the clothes I want that like suit my body, fit my body in the designs that are flowing from me, but I have the skill to make them because I let myself develop that skill. There's been a that tension within me too of can I make something good enough that I'd want to wear? Because I also hate waste. I really don't like waste, which is sometimes hard as an artist. Like any artist, please sound because I think sometimes there's that like you have to practice, you have to try things and fail at things and learn from things, and sometimes that means what could be perceived as waste. So there's just sometimes in parts of me that like, doesn't want to waste things, but also then it's a perspective shift of like yes, okay, maybe don't be like dumping oil into the ocean, but also it's okay to maybe not make something great. And I have a ritual or a habit of burning my old artworks. I need to do another one soon. I'm interested in doing it. I've done it for myself and by myself, and then I did a whole performance on said burning. But would people like want to watch that or participate in that? Like it's hard because it's like these are like very intimate things, and I think when you make art that is confessional, that is I mean art is very personal. I think if you truly like get into your artist's soul, like this is all very personal, and we express it in different ways. But when it's like sometimes these deeply intimate things, I sometimes find it difficult to like, where do I draw that line, right? Like because on the one hand, it is a lot of my practice to like explore these things within what I create, and like even now with this live, like talking about these things in real time and exploring and sharing together. But also like just because I do share and I literally like share literally everything, doesn't mean everyone gets to be privy to everything. And finding those balances of like I know I, for example, really want to really you it's and that's exactly why I do it. That the weeping, it is hard, it's so hard, and like maybe I cheat a little bit because like sometimes a lot of my work is I can like document it or it's digital and it like I can keep some of it or versions of it, but there are things like I've burned paintings, I've burned like things that I've been making, and then I keep the ashes. And I do it exactly for I would weep if I had to burn my artwork. Yes. And I think it's that challenge of my experience and my because when I was growing up I was quite like sentimental, or I guess you could say like I kept, and I was scared to let go. Like I think I feel like people relate to when you like get a nice thing, like a nice candle, or that nice bottle of wine, or that like, and you just like don't want to have it. It's like, oh, whenever the nice occasion is, like I'll burn the candle when. Um, but my life kind of forced me into, like, it really just shoved me into I had to, and I've had to like get rid of the majority of my things. I was like, in some ways, and also quite literally, like forced from my home, forced from my family comfort zone, and like, and then I took on the journey of then evolving that and going within that. And so along that journey I've noticed that like I move to new places, I accumulate things, and I have to get rid of them. And sometimes it's been graceful, sometimes it's been very messy, if not like traumatizing, because I've had like a lot of things, like a lot of my artwork like thrown into a dumpster because I couldn't pay for and didn't have people who could store my stuff. And it's like I've like scream wept about that. So I guess like burning my work is, sometimes it's, I mean, again, death and rebirth cycles, like it's that, a phoenix. You have to get rid of things in order to become new. I feel like I just need to keep like, I need to keep exhaling. Um, but burning things though, it like, it then gives me that purposefulness of doing it instead of like being forced to have my things thrown into a dumpster because I can't take care of it. Um, or so it's because it does make me weep, because it is difficult. And sometimes I've even like hoarded my things and not sold them. Like I think I just said earlier, I haven't showed some sculpture that I've made, because I just make it and then it stays here. It's nope. I mean, nope, it's mine. Um, uh, but I think it's that challenge of self. So like, yes, I'm antagonistic. Yes, I challenge the world. Yes, I am. I'm here to say things are shit, but also like things are beautiful, and also like but I'm doing that inside all the time, and so like, yes, by me like burning my art, or like talking about death and rebirth cycles, and like needing to shed and being like, hey, maybe you should think about like, do you need to burn bridges of certain people? Like, yes, I talk about those things, and it, I think, can be very confronting, like hence the controversial and polarizing nature of me. But it's because I'm doing it inside all the time, and because I am probably crying that I had to, or felt I had to burn some things because I had to move or get to move. Um, and that's really like the tug and pull within my practice is, yeah, it might seem like a slap in the face to people, that like maybe you should burn your art, or maybe you should get over it, you should try shedding some things. But that's because I'm doing it all the time, like all the time, and then get mad at myself when I'm not so graceful about it. Um, yeah, but right now it's funny. There is part of me that's like, oh, maybe not. And sometimes I do jump the gun. Like I will burn a bridge, or I will like burn things or get rid of things maybe sooner than I was ready for. And then you deal with that like, oh God. Oh God. Here we go. Here we go. Um, but yeah, I am ready to burn some things. There are things that like, no matter what, like I just can't carry them with me. Yes, physically, but also like metaphorically. I think there are moments where you just need, at least I just need to let some things go. Call me a Scorpio, I don't know. But really I think that is a part of my nature, is to like shed, but also root, like rooting in that. And so sometimes you need to prune leaves in order to um, grow in the direction you desire or have deeper roots. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be interesting to like live stream me burning my art for the fourth time. But it's also like it's a very private thing that I do with myself. But I've done it 3 times with myself, so maybe the fourth time is to be shared, or at least part of it. Like I don't think the whole thing will be. I don't know. Am I graceful at starting a fire? I haven't started one, and I don't do arson. But that's not what I mean. But like I grew up in the countryside, and so I know how to, and I have done like survival things, so I do know how to start a fire. But can I do that gracefully? Also, I need to find like a campsite, because when you don't live in the countryside, you can't just start a fire on your porch, even if it's controlled. That's maybe not the best idea. I could do it, but I just don't want to get in trouble. And there are some things that I would be burning that are quite large. When I did my first burning, I have video of it, but like I had like a really big photograph. And it's one of the ones in the show where like my family stole my art. And so it's like, it was very symbolic. And again, it's a photograph. And so I do have a digital copy of it, I think. I'm not sure. I should check. I could always recreate it. Then I have it. But I like, it was really large. And when I left for the first time, my family like unceremoniously stored it, and so it was like it was ruined. It's not something you could either like sell or exhibit, unless like that's, as we do as artists, that's part of it. Like first they steal it, then they vandalize it. But I burned it, and it was like rolled up, and when you put it in the fire, it was so great because like it just became like this tube of smoke, which was just like brilliant. And I do have a thing that I created recently for a performance that is rolled up. It's flimsier paper, and so I don't think it would do that, but it would be so fun to like recreate that and to like let that be. But like it depends on the size of fire pit I can find, because like in a small fire pit I'm gonna have to rip it up and not cause alarm for myself, but others. I can control a fire, but yeah, I'm also thinking of the time of year, because like it's hot now in the northern hemisphere, and quite hot. I don't know. I was thinking like a September burning. I'm trying to think if like anniversaries come up. Like I do, again, cycles, death, rebirth, whatever. I do like, I have different anniversaries. Like I did a performance on the 10-year anniversary of my family stealing my art. I'm trying to think if there are any anniversaries coming up. Maybe. Actually, I think this might be the 10-year anniversary of when I first burned my art. Oh my God, it actually is. Yeah, because yeah. I've been like back and forth leaving, which is a whole other story I can get into later. But yeah, it was 2016. 2016 that I first burned my art, because the performance I did was 2017 in Berlin when I was on residency. So I had to have burned it prior. And it would be August of this year, I think. No, maybe October. Well, I have the video. I can just is that a vibe? Like is that maybe the vibe? Like rent a campsite and burn my art on the anniversary? Do I do that? If people want to watch it, I'll do it. If I think I'd do it if people want to watch it. I'll probably do it for myself anyway, but like I can make it a thing. Huh. That could be fun. If you'd come, let me know. Well, virtually. I think it still is too private for me to. I could have a party. Because I do that too. I did that the last time. I literally had a party at my then residence, and I invited people, and then Harry Styles came out with a song. Not actually about it, but it was like literally what I did in song version, which I think is beautiful because like creation works in mysterious ways like that. Like we don't know each other, but we did the same thing. Really lovely. But do I have a party? Party virtually and or in person of let's burn my art, but also like maybe the things we need to let go of. And not like it could just be like paper, but like of things written down, or do we do that? If let me know, because I think that might be fun. And I'll check the exact date and maybe I can do it on or around that time of an art burning. 10-year anniversary. If you'd come, let me know. Anything else? I think I talked about everything I said I'd talk about with less knitting than I intended. If anyone has any questions or comments, concerns, dirty looks, otherwise, maybe it is about 2 o'clock here in the morning. Sure, insomnia has been visiting me lately. But yeah, anything? I can wait a little bit, but otherwise, I am probably going to fix this because I do want to or need to. I think I messed it up. I might even like have dropped some stitches. But I am close. Like this to end, I will tell you my plans for this because I posted a while ago about like what do I do with this because I had one ball of this brown and I wanted to make a full top in the brown color, but like it's just not enough. You're right, it does. Thank you. It really needs to go away. I don't know how to do that. Maybe, yeah, I think I need to fix that for next time because not the vibe. Not the vibe. Yeah. I don't know what I did. I think I just clicked. I was like clicking things and I don't know, maybe my lack of no. No. I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't know if like slow mode chat, maybe? Bear with me. I'm gonna try and figure this out like live right now because I think I can do that. Customization. Yes, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I think I got it. Oh my God. You couldn't really. Oh no. Slow mode chat is off, by the way. I got you. Really? is it really that like heart-wrenching to um that's so funny because I love this because I think it is scary. I think like, a lot of I think we experience it first as kids when like hi, I drew this thing, your parent puts it on the refrigerator, um, and then they throw away your little doodles. Um, and it hurts. It hurts to like have to let things go. I always had like um I think I've just had a lot of this. I grew up with one parent who liked to get rid of things and another one who was more sentimental, but like getting rid of things usually outweighed that. And there'd be times where like once a year we would go through the toy room and okay, if you haven't played with it in a year, we're getting rid of it. And it was just like so horrible. Um uh but yeah. Um yes. Uh, so yeah, it was not I think I'm just maybe used to it. I think I'm used to that. Like but I love that like everyone's different with it because there are times where I maybe didn't let myself um do certain things. Like I didn't let myself be as analog as I like to be because I'm like, well, if I have to pack everything into a suitcase, I don't have the luxury of like making things I can keep or like making things that I can like either take with me or that I can not have to burn. So I like part of me cut that off in me, even though there is a part of me that like I love when people have like extensive records of their process of their art of creation. I just find it so lovely and refreshing because it's just something I haven't had the luxury to do. So to like I get why it's heartbreaking and like gut wrenching to just like, oh God, um, I I have to burn this. But then there's also that part of me that's like, fire. Just fire. Please, just like let's light it all on fire and like whoosh. Uh yeah. Exactly. And that's exactly what I think, I totally get that feeling because, like, when you don't have the luxury of keeping things, like, when you don't ha like, when you have to keep moving, when you have to do even though there's that part of you that's like, "But I want this," and, like, it is a part of life, right, to, like, take accumulate and get rid and, like, and some of us have that, those cycles in our lives. So then when you do maybe have more of a stability or like a space where you have stuff, um, yeah, it's like that residual pain is like right there going, I can't, I can't do it anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I totally get that. Yeah, I think I haven't had that rooted stability yet, to maybe consciously make that shift. Um, so, like, for now, I guess I'm at this point, and this is just like my personal experience and zero advice here. Um, I'm working in my brain to like, what perspective do I look at with this? Like, leaning into my current circumstances and the journey I've been on, which has been quite mobile, which has been quite like Bernie, like burning my art or um like the cycles of death and rebirth and flowing. And I think right now I need to honor that and I'm like in a phase of needing to honor this. And yeah, hence the need to burn, which again, I think I now realizing that it is the 10-year anniversary of doing it. I'll give you a warning and I'll tell you not to watch it when I do it, because I think I should share it. I think it would be really interesting and fun to um, share it because I mean, I do performance right? Like some people even call me a performance artist, which sounds so funny to me because I'm like, yeah, I guess. But also I do more than that. Um, but I think like, yeah, make this one a performance. The others have been private and I have filmed them for myself, but I've only like shared one version of it. Um, there was one moment where I like scattered the ashes. So like when I talk about like funeral and like death rituals, I really go for it. I'm just realizing I really go for it. Um, yeah, I scattered the ashes. Yes, thank you. The multidisciplinary. It's funny though, right? Like I feel like because like I'm thinking about your practice, right? You do so many things as well. Yes, there are maybe some like themes that you've like stuck in within um like the two-dimensional and design, but also like how that evolves into so many different things. And like we're just creative people. And so of course we're gonna like dip our toes here and there and like do things. Um so yeah, I think sometimes and maybe this is just my apprehension too. Do not put me in a box. Like nothing about me. Don't you dare. Like how dare you put me in any kind of box because what if part of it is like the freedom of it all, like absolutely nope, do not try and come at me. No. But also I think some of it is like I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let people down of like, okay, you say I'm this thing. But what if I need to like grow and do things? Exactly. Thank you. It is our canvas. So like, yeah, but it is funny. Like sometimes it's like a yeah, there's tension within that. Hi. Ah, hello. Yay. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy right now. I've been it's so funny. I've been like I think for about 30 minutes I was just chatting to myself. Actually, for the the first like 3 minutes, I think I was just brushing my hair. Um Needed that. But yeah. Anything else? I'm okay to keep chatting, but otherwise we can get going. Um yeah, I might also need to turn on the AC. I don't know where y'all are, but it's hot even at night now. Go to bed. What are you doing? Go to bed. I'm sleepy too, but like insomnia has been oof. Um yeah. But thanks for coming. I really, really appreciate it. Um Good night. Bye. I I do need to knit this. I I'm happy that I did just chat, but I need to finish this. I'm stubbornly wanting to finish this because I have two pieces that I need to make in 5 weeks. So wish me luck because I have a show coming up. So I need to finish for that. But yeah, um, if people like this, I'll do this more because this is quite fun. But thank you. Thank you so much. I know, yes, thank you. I feel like it's so funny asking for those things. Anyway, really, thank you all for being here. And do my best to be here again soon. Thank you. I'm going to end and have a good night if it's night for you. But anyway, thank you. And I'll see you later.